Welcome to the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo. Brought to you by Coastal Appliances, Island Automotive, Somerset Mortgage, The Emerald Princess, Bruce Kennedy Tire, Apple Care Immediate Care, Misty's Element Massage, Jenkins Nissan, and by Loco's Grill and Pub. Now here's the voice of the Glynn Academy Red Terrors, Kevin Price.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network. I'm Kevin Price. We're on location at Loco's Grill and Pub. We are here each and every Sunday night at 6:30 as Glynn Academy continues their season in the state playoffs. This segment of the Rocky Hidalgo Show is sponsored by Island Automotive, Coastal Appliances, the Emerald Princess, Somerset Mortgage, Bruce Kennedy Tire, Apple Care Immediate Care, Misty's Element Massage, Jenkins Nissan, Magic 105.9, and Locos. And now with us, as always, the head coach of the Glynn Academy Red Terrors, Coach Rocky Hidalgo. Coach, welcome aboard.
How we doing?
Good. And Coach is excited, and he's glad to be here, but he's got to work tonight, finishing up some pregame work on the playoff game Friday night. So we're going to just rock on along here, and it's good to be here once again. Of course, Glynn Academy coming off the 27-23 victory over South Effingham on Friday night. The Red Terrors finished the regular season 7-3 and finished region play at 6-2 and are the number 3 seed going into the state playoffs out of Region 3 5A. And we'll talk about Glynn Academy's upcoming opponent, Drew, in the first round in one of our segments here tonight. But, Coach, I saw you after the game Friday night getting ready to get on the bus, and your basic comment after saying, hey, how are you, as well, we won. And that's about all you really had to say, and I kind of deciphered what you meant by it, but I know you weren't exactly 100% pleased past winning.
Well, that's, it is something that, when I was a younger coach, I had to learn that you should never be disappointed with a win. You always want to play better than we did Friday night, but this other side of it is we won. And sometimes football teams have to survive a game. I mean, and you see it, the teams that win the Super Bowl and the national championship, they always have to survive a game. And Friday night was one of those games. South Effingham, Coach Revels, his team, they played their tails off. I think, a lot of things went into it. We got up 20-0 and probably relaxed a little bit. And they had the long run, and the onside kick got some momentum. And football is a very emotional game. And, I think we had some little confusion on defense. Hunter Hall went out injured, and when that happened, he does the majority of our signals and calls defensively. And so we had some breakdowns there in communication, and that hurt us there. And the other thing is their kids played really hard. I mean, they did a good job on some stuff. We had some penalties that killed us. The drive that we had two pass interference calls. Whether you agree with them or don't, they happen. And when you give up 30 yards and penalties on the drive, you're probably going to give up points. But that being said, the flip side of this is we did come out of there with a win. We won the game. We have a lot to work on. I think defensively we've got about 55 plays where we made mistakes. So but they're all correctable mistakes, and they're mistakes that we've done correctly in the past. So we'll put it behind us and get to work on Monday and worry about Drew.
And you kind of hit on something I wanted to ask you. Early in the season, y'all won some games kind of ugly, quite frankly, with, overcoming some turnovers and some penalties. And then the last couple of weeks, y'all really looked sharp since that off week, and really kind of had your way against both Effingham and Statesboro. But not that you took a step backwards necessarily, but some of the things that you were having problems with early in the season cropped up again. But if you go deep into the playoffs or as you win, you're going to play some good teams. They're going to make you overcome some adverse situations. So kind of being in that situation again, I guess, did you see maybe we have grown up and we can overcome some of these things and we can win when we're not playing our best?
Well, I think we've done that all year. I think we won a game where we had 5 turnovers. That doesn't happen very often. Mm-hmm. Friday night was a game where, we gave up big plays, and we had 14 penalties, I believe. And we still found a way to win. So, our kids made some plays as well. I mean, I think that's the other side. Our kids made some plays. You're not going to play your best every night. I know everybody, you hope to, and you want to get on a run where you're playing well. But we did a lot of good things. Our kids played hard. but there's some things as coaches we've got to do a better job of communicating with our kids on some stuff, and that falls on us. And it's obviously with some things that our kids weren't sure about some things that we, how we want them to do some stuff, and that really comes down to us doing a good job in communicating and being good teachers on the football field. So we'll go back and we watched the film today with our coaches and had a discussion about how we want things played, and hopefully we'll improve upon it. And I think our kids recognize that they didn't play their best. It's not always bad to struggle. Sometimes, struggling a little bit right before you go in the playoffs can kind of, refocus you and one of the things that we have to learn how to do is survive success. And I think we had 2 really good weeks and probably came out here and looked like we were going to get up and blow them away, and we didn't finish. So we've got to learn to finish, and hopefully the next few weeks we'll learn from this and we'll play better for 4 quarters.
This is the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network. And, Coach, certainly at the start of the game, that was one of the positives. You started well, 4 straight possessions. You scored 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals. So for the 3rd straight week in a row, you've started the game pretty fast. Yeah,
we preach our kids start fast and finish strong. And I think we started fast. We didn't finish well. And, it's just something to work on. And we came out of the gate. We made some plays, ran the ball well, and I'll say this: they're defensively, they're very well coached. They played really hard. They hit some nice adjustments to us, and a lot of it had to do with their team. I think it was senior night. Their team has played tough all year long and played some really good teams tough, and I kind of expected the game to go down to the wire. To be honest with you.
And your kids kind of did, maybe a similar thing after they got back in the game. They scored, had the onside kick, scored again. All of a sudden, you're from being 20-0 to 20-14 at the half, but you kind of came out and took over again in the 3rd quarter, scoring early to go up. Then maybe that might have been what you were most disappointed in, that you didn't really finish them off till basically the wire.
Yeah, we had a couple opportunities. We flipped the field. We had a turnover on the kicking game. And we missed a field goal. We had a penalty there that didn't we weren't able to stick it in. And it just kind of one of those things that it just was one of those nights. I think if you go back and look at the way they played, they made some catches that were really astounding catches. I mean, their quarterback just made some plays, threw the ball in there, and their kids just came down with the football a couple times too. And sometimes that's just kind of the way God wants it to work out. I mean, it is what it is.
Right.
And I've played a game where the quarterback went 25 for 26, and we lost on a Friday night and had to turn around and play a play-in game on Monday, and the quarterback went like 6 for 19 in the play-in game, and we killed him. So I mean, it was all the same stuff, all the same kids. It just is what it is. Sometimes it's that people play well, they just kind of get in a groove, they make some plays, and their kids made a lot of plays in the second half. They should be proud.
Well, there's more to come here on the Rocky Hidalgo Coaches Show on the Bishop Media Sports Network. Right now, these words from our sponsors.
For all of your automotive repair needs, visit Island Automotive, 1950 Demery Road, across from the fire station on St. Simon's Island. They're a family-owned and operated business that has been delivering great service not only to St. Simon's, but to all of Southeast Georgia for over 25 years. Your complete auto repair and auto detailing facility. Online at islandautomotivecenter.com or at 912-638-0888. And go Terrors! Coastal Appliances is your one-stop shop for Whirlpool washers and dryers, Whirlpool refrigerators, and so much more. Coastal Appliances offers free delivery and service after installation and have also been in business for over 30 years. 4727 Altama, next to Sonic, and on the web at appliancesbrunswickga.com, or give them a call at 912-267-0132. Coastal Appliances, Glynn County's only specialty appliance store.
Hop aboard for Texas Hold'em tournaments, roulette, poker, lots of slot action, food, music, and more. Labor Day weekend, Sunday, August 31st, 7 p.m. Cruises depart from Brunswick, Georgia. Call 800-842-0115 or visit EmeraldPrincessCasino.com. Must be 18 years of age and present a government-issued photo ID to board.
I'm Jenkins Nissan.
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 I am Jenkins Nissan.
I'm Donnie Jenkins. We're all Jenkins Nissan, and together we want to show you just how easy buying and servicing your car should be. So please, stop by and experience the Jenkins Nissan difference. Look for the red and white Nissan tent at the corner of Chapel Crossing Road and the Spur, or visit us online at jenkinsnissanofbrunswick.com.
Welcome back to the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network. I'm Kevin Price. We're on location at Loco's Grill and Pub on St. Simons. This segment brought to you by Island Automotive, Coastal Appliances, Jenkins Nissan, Magic 105.9, and Emerald Princess. And, Coach, just a few more things about South Effingham, and we'll move on to the playoffs. But once again, good balance on offense. Actually, you threw for more than you ran for, and I think that's maybe the first time in the last couple of weeks that's happened. But Zach Lampert threw for 250, I think, and I think you ran for about 175.
Yeah, and we put up a lot of yards. We had some drop balls there, and those are plays that, again, we need to convert those plays if against if we want to win next Friday night. We're going to have to hold on to a couple of balls there that we made some plays, and they're tough throws and tough catches, but we've got to come down with those. And likewise, defensively, we kind of missed some tackles that we've got to make. But all in all, I think offensively, we did a lot of good things there. I think we got to cut the penalties out. I think we had 5 or 6 procedure penalties. And I think that was really about our kids being anxious to go out and play. And, you want them to go out and be excited about what they're doing, but, we've got to channel that and not make mistakes.
Also wanted to ask you about Scout Churchwell. He's, of course, handled PAT and field goals since Seth Carroll was hurt, and, of course, Seth Carroll's back now and kicking off and punting. But I think he made 2 38-yarders in the first half, and the first one barely got over the crossbar, maybe with about a yard to spare, but the next one went through with plenty of distance. What range are you comfortable with in calling on him to reach for a field goal?
Well, Scout could probably kick one from the mid-40s, and we feel he's, but Banks in Whistle has been kicking really well at practice for everything over 40-plus yards, 42-plus. So that's something that we've kind of are going to turn over the longer field goals to him. And Seth Carroll's come back from his injury and starting to kick again. He's starting to get back in form. So we'll just kind of evaluate that every day. That's something we're very fortunate that we have 3 guys that we feel like can go out there and kick field goals. It's not everybody has 3 of them, but we have 3 guys who can go out there and kick. And every day that's a competition over there. We chart those guys and give them an opportunity to go out and kick and see where we lie.
Now, as you get ready to go into Week 11, the first round of the playoffs, you mentioned Hunter Hull got hurt, and I don't think he ever came back in the game, if I'm not mistaken. But how is he, and just how are you health-wise?
We're pretty healthy with the exception of that. We've got a couple guys got some ankle injuries that we're having to work on with the trainer. But Hunter's got one, and we'll just have to see how he heals up this week. Right now, we don't know if he's going to be able to play or not. He had a lot of swelling and a lot of tenderness in it on Saturday, and we'll just kind of have to evaluate him each day. Hopefully, he'll be out there.
All right. Coach, let's move on and let's talk about Drew now. Just a real quick history lesson on them. Drew is a fairly new school. They didn't open until or didn't play football until 2009 at least. Made the playoffs in their 3rd year in 2011 and lost in the first round. But this year they are 7-3 overall, just like you, 5-1 in Region 4. They're the number 2 seed. They lost basically the region championship game last Friday night, 56-23 to Stockbridge, which is the number 1 seed, and will now face our number 4, which is crosstown rival Brunswick. But Coach, I did watch a little bit of film on them this afternoon, and I'll have some questions in a moment. But just some general thoughts from you on Drew.
They're a really talented team. They've got a lot of. Their skill players are exceptional on offense. They've got a lot of guys who can take the football, get it in their hands, and go make the band play. As I say, defensively, they run around very well. They're very active at linebacker. Their kids are they like to kind of bring some guys off the edge there, and they do a good job with that stuff. So it's going to be a tough task. Athletically, they might be the most athletic team we played all year.
You're listening to the Coach Rocky Hidalgo Show here on the Bishop Media Sports Network, and I did want to talk about them. Offensively, they do look athletic. The quarterback, Joseph Newman, I think he's 5'10", 170. He's passed for about 1,200 yards and 21 touchdowns. Their main running back, Marquise Terry, he's a senior. 5'9", 175. He's rushed for about 1,400 yards and 14 touchdowns. And in a little bit of film I saw, they did seem to kind of be the 1-2 punch, the guys that make it go.
Yeah, they're fast. They're very good. They've got a couple of guys who can really run the football. The quarterback is he's kind of got magic in his shoes. He can make you look bad. So he's a guy that really scares me. Anytime they're in the shotgun, and what's most dangerous about him is his ability to scramble and not just kind of break off and make a big play against your pass coverage, but also find a receiver down the field. They've got some really tall, rangy receivers who can go up and get the football. So that's going to add a different dimension to what we're doing defensively. We're going to have to do a great job of containing him, kind of build a box around him, and hope that we play well in the secondary.
And now defensively, they do seem to be definitely aggressive, maybe over-aggressive at sometimes. I was thinking maybe you could hit some misdirection plays on them or something like that, but I did notice that they like to bring their linebackers. They really play downhill all night long.
Yeah, misdirection plays are great unless they're just all in the backfield and stuff. They like to get in the backfield and tackle people. We'll just have to see. I think there's some matchups that we have an advantage in, and there's some things that we can do to attack them because of their aggressiveness. But we're going to have to make some plays. There's going to be some opportunities for us there, but we're going to have a guy make a play against their guy, and that's really what it comes down to. When you get in one-on-one situations in this game, who's going to win those one-on-one situations? Their quarterback's going to have one-on-one situations versus linebackers and defensive backs. And we're going to have to be able to tackle well in those scenarios. We're going to have one-on-one situations against their secondary and linebackers. We're going to have to make a move and get a big play. Whoever wins the explosive plays and turnovers is going to win the game.
And I was going to ask you the key, and I thought it might be maybe who does hit the biggest plays of the night. So that kind of sums that up. But, Coach, what happened in that second half in that game against Stockbridge? Because I think it was just 19-13 at the half, if I'm not mistaken, and it ends up 56-23.
Lots of scoring. Lots of big plays. They had, some – Stockbridge is very good. I got a chance to watch them. Coach Whitley does a really good job. I don't know him particularly well, but I do know his reputation, and I know a lot of guys who do know him, and people brag on him about how good of a program he runs. And you can see when you watch them defensively, they get to the right spots. They're very well coached over at Stockbridge, and they were able to kind of crease them up there and get some big plays.
Now, let's look at your draw. Have you even looked at your quadrant of the bracket to see who you might play next? I know from sitting here talking to you, the answer is probably no.
No, I really haven't. I know it's going to be, I think it's going to be the Paulding County region and the kind of the DeKalb County, City of Atlanta region. I believe that's who it is, but I really haven't looked. I think a friend of mine, Chuck Goddard, his East Paulding, said New Manchester. I don't even know who they're playing, to be honest with you.
Well, the winner, if you were to win, would be Manchester or Creekside. Of course, Creekside used to have Eric Berry, and Glynn Academy did run into him in the playoffs several years ago, and he pretty much single-handedly won that game.
He's not still there, is he?
No, he's with the Kansas City Chiefs now, so you're okay.
That's good. As long as I don't have to play him, I'll feel better.
So then in the final, and also in that bracket, you got Salem and Dalton, and then Northside Columbus and Northside Warner Robins. If you were to beat Creekside, who I think would probably be awaiting you in the second round, I'm going to predict that you would have to play Northside Warner Robins. Hate to wish that upon you, but I know you'd gladly like to be there.
If we get an opportunity to do that, it'll be all good. We'll just have to get through this week. That's kind of really all I'm trying to do is let's put a good game plan together, go play Drew, and then tomorrow I'll look and I'll contact those coaches of who we might play and set up a film swap after the game if we're fortunate enough to win, and we'll try to get all that squared away. But I really, it's been a busy weekend, and I'm just trying to, between Demolition Derby and getting ready for the playoff game, I've been swamped this weekend. So.
All right. Well, we'll be right back with Glynn Academy's head coach Rocky Hidalgo here on the Bishop Media Sports Network.
Relax. Misty's Element Massage specializes in helping you do just that. Located at 138 Village Market on St. Simon's Island, Misty's Element Massage offers deep tissue massages, therapeutic massages, scrubs, creams, body wraps, and much more. The perfect gift for that special someone, not to mention sports massages for that aching muscle. Schedule your appointment today at 912-224-0198 or on the web at mistyselement.com.
Bruce Kennedy Tire is your hometown destination for tires. Michelin, Goodyear, and all the brands you trust. But don't let the name fool you. Bruce Kennedy Tire, located at 2928 Norwich Street, does more than just tires. Brakes, alignments, repair work, and more than I can mention. Bruce Kennedy is locally owned and operated, so you get the best service in Glynn County. So give Bruce a call at 912-264-6578. Bruce Kennedy Tire, a name you can trust. Get affordable health care when you need it. At Apple Care Immediate Care, our team of compassionate healthcare providers is dedicated to treating each patient with the highest standard in healthcare. Located at 1111 Glencoe Parkway, Apple Care is open Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m., Saturday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Apple Care welcomes all walk-ins from pediatric to adult ages and accepts most insurance plans. Visit us at applecaredoctors.com and like us on Facebook.
Hello, Glenn Academy Red Terror fans. It's an exciting time of the year when football season starts. It's also an exciting time of the year if you are buying a home and need a great mortgage team on your side. The smart folks at Somerset Mortgage will help you lock in the best rates and closing costs, but more importantly, they have the patience and expertise you need to get you to the closing table. Call Somerset to find out more. 638-2020, conveniently located next to Outback on St. Simons. Somerset, 638-2020.
It's time to get together with friends and family to enjoy great games, great food, and a great atmosphere at Loco's on St. Simon's Island. Loco's has something for everyone with their classic sandwiches, fresh salads, and specialty burgers. And Loco's award-winning wings, from traditional boneless or slow roasted, means it's time to get your wings on. With football season starting, don't forget to catch the game at Loco's too. Be sure to like Loco's on Facebook to keep up with the latest. Have your friends meet you at the Moose.
Welcome back to the Glynn Academy Red Terror Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network. I'm Kevin Price. We're on location at Loco's Grill and Pub on St. Simon's. This segment brought to you by Misty's Element Massage, Bruce Kennedy Tire, Apple Care, Immediate Care, and Somerset Mortgage. And Coach, just kind of looking at the general landscape of Class 5A, I know the two teams from our region, Ware and Coffee, are sitting 1-2 in the polls for whatever that's worth. They're on opposite sides of the brackets and would possibly meet in the state championship game if they were to make it there as the top two teams in the state. I know obviously you would like to have a shot at one of those teams again, and if you were to keep climbing along, you would reach Coffee in the semifinal round, and that would be all great, and you would face Ware County possibly in the state championship game. But what's the chances of those two teams making it through 5A as number 1 and 2 in the state?
They both have very good football teams. So, there's always that chance. Generally the best team doesn't usually win it. Having gone to the semifinals twice in the state championship game, the playoffs are really about who wants to practice another day, who wants to play another week, kind of once you get in there. It is a grind. And it's hard. It's the hardest thing I did when we played in the state championship game. It's exhausting. And the day after it was over with, I was obviously disappointed because we didn't win, but literally my body crashed. I got sick for 3 days, but it's a difficult thing to do, and to drag yourself out there and go to practice and be focused on it. So, for a lot of kids, and it just depends on the health of your team. And I know Roswell had a great team one year. They ended up losing to Parkview, I believe, in the quarterfinals, 21-20. When Parkview had their great run, they had their 4 best players sitting on the bench. Harrison High School had a team that played for the state championship, returned 18 starters, and they had 4 major college football players get injured and lost in the second round. So there's more than just being the best team. Injuries play a part in it, and so there's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of good football teams out there. You can look at Creekside, obviously, up in Cobb County. I know Allatoona has a very good football team over there. They've got a really good football team, and the Kell Longhorns, they've got a good team, and that's not to count that Creekside and Stevenson, those are teams that are talented enough to win any game that they play against a 5A or 6A opponent. So, there's no way to predict who's going to go out there and win. I know Ware has got an exceptional defense. Defensively, that team's going to be in every game that they play, and as long as they hold on to the ball, they're going to have a chance to win. Coffee's offense is very, very good. It's going to take a very good defensive football team to stop coffee, because they're very talented. When you get on the field with them, you see that it's as good an offensive football team as there probably is out there.
And you talked about the grind, and I was going to kind of ask you that question in a minute. And it's also a lot about matchups. As you very well know, I was looking at some of the brackets earlier today, and sometimes two of the best teams in the state by the polls meet in the second round, and sometimes you see some potential state championship games even in the second round. And I know you've been through probably a lot of situations where maybe the toughest team you met was early in the playoffs, but it's 5 more weeks if you were to advance all the way through the brackets. Obviously, that's a half a season. Just what is to the approach that you have to take mentally and physically to the playoffs to survive that grind?
Well, for me personally, I believe in trying to keep our kids interested. I want our kids, there's a lot of guys out there that, and it goes back to the summer, everything that we do. There are a lot of guys that just grind during the summer with their kids. Well, I want our kids, when August 1st hits, I want them ready to play football and hungry to play, not sick and tired of playing ball. And there's a lot of guys who burn their kids out during the summer. The same thing is during the season. I mean, when you're practicing 3-4 hours a day, there are some coaches that do that, and they've been very successful, and that's the way those do things. For me, I want to keep my kids fresh. I want to keep them healthy when we get to the playoffs, so that we've got the ability. I want to get the players to the dance. That's the first thing. I want to go out, and I don't want to have our practices be overly strenuous, because I want them to come out and want to practice again. So, I try to be as upbeat and as positive and as enthusiastic as possible, because I want to make practice fun, because you're dragging on into the doldrums of November and December, and it's a very long season. And as soon as the kids get disinterested in what you do, the season is over with. And that's the truth. And so what we try to do is we want to go out and we want to have a good time at practice and get some work done. And so the best that we can, we try to cut back on the time if we can. But sometimes, your opponent just doesn't allow that. There are things that you have to get done. So for me, that's what it is. It's trying to get our kids interested to really, Friday night is great and important. But if we're engaged and interested in what we do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll play well on Friday.
This is the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo. And Coach, as you go through the brackets, I know you have all these sophisticated offenses and so forth these days, and people are putting up a lot of points, and I've read some stories about that just in the state of Georgia, how much the scoring's gone up. But typically, in general speaking terms, I think the deeper you go in the playoffs, the teams with the better defenses usually come out on top. Would you agree with that? Or
I think it gives you an opportunity when you have the chance. I think if you watched LSU and Alabama play this weekend, you saw for the last decade, probably the 2 best football programs in the country play, and it was on display last night again. Why? Because they're the 2 best defensive football teams in the last 10 years. That in college football, and they're the only 2 teams that can play that type of game week in and week out, and that's why they've been the best over the last 7 years for sure. And defense is there. When you play a great defensive football team, there's no margin for error against them, and they have a margin. They can turn the ball over deep in their territory, and defensive they can go slam the door on you, and that's the advantage of being one of those teams that just has a stonewall defense. And at the end of the day, when the weather's bad, when it's cold outside and all that stuff, I'll go with defense. I'll go with defense. So that's not to say that teams that, we saw Gainesville a few years ago win it with a dynamic offense. They had a great player at quarterback. But those, when you have a team that has a great defense, the one we lost to in the state championship game at Walton, the Grayson team, 10 of 11 guys went and played college football. It was a great defense, and they played a great game against us. I mean, it's tough to beat those guys when all they got to do is score 7 points.
and Coach, just 2 more questions, one about this Friday night and one about something you mentioned during one of our breaks. You had a little fun this weekend. Your approach to Friday night, a 4-hour trip at least, maybe 4.5, time you stop, whatever, longer than that. How will you break up that trip? Will you stop and practice or any kind of thing like that?
No, we're going to get it. We're going to feed the team a breakfast. We're going to get on the bus and have a snack for them at some point in time. We're going to get up there. And then when we get up there, we'll sit down and let them walk. We'll let them walk around a little bit, and then we'll go have a nice pregame dinner. and then try to get in our pregame routine. So I'm not real big on driving part way and doing a walk-through practice or anything like that. I might get them up there and find a spot, let's go walk around a little bit and be done with it. But we don't practice on Friday any other time. We don't need a Friday practice. We just want to stretch our legs some, and we can do that. I would prefer just to get up there. You never know when driving to Atlanta when you're going to hit traffic, and I've been that 5-hour trip has been 8 hours for me a couple times, and I want to get up there and make sure that's out of the way and make sure we arrive.
All right. Well, Coach, you arrived at the show tonight, and I'm glad to see you here after you told me what you did last night. Of course, the fair was in town, the Exchange Club Fair, and Coach got to participate in the Demolition Derby. So, and you said it's some of the most fun you ever had in your life. So just tell us about it.
Yeah, it was easily the most fun thing I've ever done in my life. I knew it would be great, but it was better than I expected. I'm a little sore today. I'm not nearly as sore as I thought I would be. I thought I would be a lot more sore. I got cracked a couple of good times. I appreciate all those Brunswick fans cheering when I got hit hard. There's a bunch of them cheered hard. And I heard some boos out there when they introduced me. So I'm hoping those are the Brunswick fans too. But it was a lot of fun. I appreciate the Exchange Club inviting me to do that. I will definitely do it again one day for sure. Anytime they need an opportunity or somebody they'll have an opportunity for me to drive the Glynn Academy car, I will do it until I get too old to do it and when my body starts to break down, because it was a good time.
And for official purposes, you did finish third. Is that correct?
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. I don't know. I think I was the new guy in the race, and I think they gave me. I think the Getka car they gave that one was the ringer car. I think they loaded the bumpers with concrete or something like that. It's the only way they could have beat me. That's all I have to say.
All right, well, Coach, go coach them up this week. Get the guys prepared and ready to go, and hopefully next Sunday night we're sitting here talking about a round 1 victory.
Yes, sir.
All right, this has been the Coach Rocky Hidalgo Show. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in and joining us here at Locos. Come out next Sunday night. We'll be here to talk about playoff football with the coach of the Glynn Academy Red Terrors, Coach Rocky Hidalgo. Thanks, everybody. Have a good week. This is Kevin Price signing off.